A quick reaction to Cadiz versus Real Madrid post-match.
Been a very difficult international week for Carlo Ancelotti, losing another two key players to injury in Camavinga and Vinny Jr. I suppose at this stage, Ali, he's just going to have to take things game by game.
Yeah, and you have to figure out who's available to you and how do you manage to get 3 points in that specific game. And so today, for example, Luka Modric and Toni Kroos play together. It's something that perhaps hasn't worked out in the past for Real Madrid and Carlo Ancelotti. And guess what? Luka Modric comes on the field because he's complaining about something that is going on in terms of a soft tissue injury in the back of his leg. How does that affect Real Madrid going forward? We don't know, but what we do know is that they're leading La Liga right now.
So I have to agree to the point that we have to take this La Liga game by game because a lot of factors are out of your control. So you have to focus what you can control. You have to look for the players you have available. And despite a lot of bad news such as Camavinga and Vinicius getting injury, there are also a lot of good news. For example, Bellingham came back. And most importantly, if you look at our schedule, especially in La Liga, it's not that terrible, which means if we can survive until February when Vinicius and Camavinga and other injured players come back, we'll have better chance to win La Liga.
I mean, there are going to be much more difficult tests ahead for Real Madrid, particularly with the players that they have absent than Cadiz was today, Luis.
Yes, I think so. Okay, today Real Madrid, yes, it was cruising, no difficulties at all. I think they needed something else. They would have found their way to get it, but it was kind of an easy game for Cadiz. You know that when you play against Real Madrid, two things very important. First of all, don't concede early on the game because then you give them the dominance. They know how to control the tempo. They know how to make you go out of your place, out of your comfort zone. And then in transition, they're going to be very good. And the second one is transition. Don't break your team into pieces because that's where Real Madrid used their full talent. And today, Cadiz did exactly that. So in the end, a 3-0 win for Real Madrid. I think that some of the players didn't even have a sweat because they were just jogging, just keeping the ball. We saw the second goal of Rodrygo, just passing players without any kind of problem and scoring with just almost a tap in the kind of range of Ali. So I think that it was a...
The first point of Luis Garcia, I do agree that it was kind of easy game. If you look at the game, I think first 10 to 15 minutes, Cadiz played really well. They were kind of attacking and it's a little bit nerve-breaking for Real Madrid. However, until that moment, and then Real Madrid scored first goal, it's different game. And the focal point of his discussion is that if you let Real Madrid score early, it's very difficult for you. And this is why scoring early is so important for us. Whenever you score early, opponents cannot sit back. They can't park the bus. They have to attack because they at least have to get a point. And to get a point, they at least have to score. And to score, they have to attack. And that will let you to have space. And that's exactly what happened. The last point of Luis Garcia, which I slightly disagree. He said Cadiz let Real Madrid attack so easily. In fact, I would argue that it's because of the lack of resource. They don't have the talented players like Real Madrid. Moreover, when they had to attack, so which led to have Real Madrid more space.
Let me talk about Rodrygo, because we've seen that when it comes to Carlo Ancelotti, he definitely knows how to manage this player. We've seen him have a bit of an argument with him and have to tell him, calm down, when Rodrygo's spoken back to him. But recently, Rodrygo had spoken about how when things haven't been going well for him, Carlo Ancelotti has been extremely consistent with him, talking to him after every training session, just letting him know, it's okay, I believe in you. And we saw that pay off today, Ale.
Okay, before Ali's point, when did Rodrygo had argument with Carlo? I think it was last season, right? It's not this season, if I'm not mistaken.
It's part of managing, understanding what each player needs. I don't imagine that Jude Bellingham needs to be told how great he is all the time, but maybe Rodrygo does need somebody to explain to him after training, this is working, this is not working. Part of managing is understanding what the needs are for each one of your players so that you can get the very best out of those players. And in the case of Rodrygo, there are moments in which Carlo Ancelotti has had to be stern and tough with him and said, sit down, relax, stop the whining, stop the complaining. We don't need that. I need you to play out of position. Don't complain about that. You're going to see that you're going to score goals because I am putting you in positions where you're going to be successful. So trust me. And I think in the case of Rodrygo specifically, what he sees and what he gets for Carlo Ancelotti is consistency of the message and clarity. clarity and trust. When you have that from a manager, that goes both ways. It's not just a one-way relationship. There is communication, and you get that clarity, and you get that trust, and you get that confidence from the manager. What else are you going to do if you're a player? You want to go out there and repay that trust. You want to go out there and prove your worth to your manager and to your team, and that's what we saw today from Rodrygo, and he wasn't even supposed to play. So guess what? Now everybody's happy.
Again, that was kind of unnecessary discussion about the past. I think that happened last season. We don't have to talk about those. What we have to talk about today is Rodrygo's performance. He was incredible. So there are a lot of people who was critical about Rodrygo's earlier performance this season, and I am one of those. And my reasoning was that whenever Vinicius was injured, we wanted to see Rodrygo to perform, and he wasn't doing that. And today, he performed as we expected. This is the performance we would like to see from him. For example, look at our first goal. What a beautiful goal by Rodrygo. Not only the goal, but the positioning of Rodrygo. He was in the left side, and he made the space for himself. This is what he has to do. Look for the space and take your chance. And then look at his second goal. Again, it's a beautiful team goal. However, Rodrygo deserves his credit. Look at the space he made out for himself. So, if we want to win big title this season, Rodrygo has to play his role. And this is how he has to play.
And obviously he's going to have to keep this up now, Luis, especially with the absence of Vinny until February.
Yeah, exactly. That's what is being the demanding for him. In the start of the season, we saw that once again, he was doing a good job, delivering what the manager was asking. It's true that in this kind of change the system of Real Madrid since the beginning, it's been not easy for him because not having Benzema, he's a player who likes to be around, make a satellite from a centre forward. Finally, in the last couple of games, we saw a very good Rodrygo. Sometimes he will be the one who scores the goals, but I think he's not only there to score goals, he's also for create, to make something different up front him today.
So another reason why Rodrygo played superb today is also, you have to look at who he played today. He played in his natural position. He likes to play in the left side. Unfortunately, in general, when we have everyone is available, that is for Vinicius. Also, it seems Rodrygo doesn't enjoy to be the limelight of the attack. For example, when he has to play a number 9 role, he's not comfortable because he's a player who likes to drift wide, who likes to drop back. When he's playing for number 9, it's kind of difficult because you always have to be there. Now, when Whoscored is occupying that space, it becomes easier for Rodrygo to play the way he wants to play.
Here's an easy one for you, Ali. How good is Jude Bellingham?
Well, it's an easy one in that he's really, really, really good.
Let me tell you this. Look at Bellingham's goal today. The way he scored is like a striker, not a midfielder. Like the confidence and the finishing from that angle, that's just simply amazing.
But I think it goes beyond the goals. And people have a tendency of get fixated with the goals. We get fixated with the goals. It's the first full screen that we see from him, the productivity. But when you see Jude Bellingham, it is the totality of his game that makes him the player that he is. There were moments today in the game that had nothing to do with him scoring that told you exactly the kind of player he is for Real Madrid.
So one thing that doesn't lie is his stat. Look at the numbers. The number doesn't lie. So despite all the injuries we're having, we have probably one of the worst injuries in Europe right now. I might be wrong, but that's what I think. Despite all the injuries, why I am still so optimistic is because of Jude Bellingham. Because whenever he plays, he will score at least one goal. That's kind of guaranteed. Whenever you can guarantee at least one goal, that means your chance of winning is much higher. Also, regarding players' performance, as I already discussed, Rodrygo deserves man of the match. 2 goals and 1 assist. We don't have to discuss further. Regarding Whoscored's performance, like position-wise, I would say he was almost perfect. He's there. Like you can deliver a pass or ball to him. However, when you deliver that pass or ball to him, what's the outcome? I don't know. For example, today, there's a moment where he didn't score because he thought he was offside. In my opinion, if you're a professional footballer, You don't think about this is offside or onside on the field. You just score. Then you see what the referee decides to do. In terms of other players' performance, I like Fede's performance today. As I told you numerous times, he is now the new backbone of this team. This team depends on him at midfield nowadays. He's that vital. And also, despite I'm not a big proponent of playing Kroos and Modric together, but today we had to because we have no other option. And to be fair, I kind of like the way Modric played today. And also defensively today, Rudiger, Nacho, Mendy, and Carvajal. Everyone was good today. Another player I must have to mention is Lunin. He was so solid today that whenever Kepa is back, I would play Lunin over Kepa any day. Because if you look at today's performance, it's not the same. His confidence is way better than before. Also, if you look at his passing, is better. His ball distribution is significantly better than before. Also, when you look at crossing, I have way more confidence on Lunin than Kepa. Having a taller goalkeeper is vital in modern football. Anyway, let me know what did you think about our performance today in the comment section below.